John Stargarian here, and I just want to briefly talk about my play on Daniel Teymur against Chase Hooper. So if you like the video, please drop a like and subscribe. So I played Teymur here for 2 units at minus 113. He's currently actually at evens or a dog, depending on what book you look at. And I personally think he wins this fight about 60% of the time. I would cap him at about minus 150. So he's probably worth playing up to about, in my opinion, minus 130 or so. And basically what this fight comes down to for me is Chase Hooper's just not ready for the UFC. That's about all I can say here. I mean, you watch Hooper and his striking is horrific. He doesn't know how to sit on his punches at all. He has no leverage when he throws, does no power. He's not very technical. He doesn't throw particularly often, and he keeps his chin up all the time. The guy gets rocked all the time. I've seen him rocked by really low-level opponents, go to a draw with a 7-8 opponent on the regional scene. And I just don't, he was fought in the Contender Series a couple years ago, and he was 18. He's had 3 fights since then on the regional scene. And I've seen, there's been some improvements, but pretty minimal. I don't see all of the things that could cause him an issue in the UFC. Basically, his striking and lack of wrestling ability. I haven't seen any improvements in it all. And that's going to be a problem for me against Daniel Teymur. Don't get me wrong, Daniel Teymur is not a good fighter. And truthfully, when I went into the tape here, I went into it expecting to want to back an undefeated 20-year-old against Daniel Teymur, who's basically a jobber. Teymur's got horrible fight IQ and pretty bad cardio. But he does have pretty strong kickboxing. He's got decent power. And in just about all of his fights, except against, I believe, Julio Ars, he's actually, shown flashes and actually hurt his opponents at some point or another, usually very early in the fight. And to me, when you look at these two on the feet, Teymur is just multiple tiers above Hooper. Hooper has literally no chance to compete here on the feet, and I think there's actually a very strong chance that Teymur knocks him out. And so the question is, if Hooper can't compete on the feet, can he compete on the ground? And yeah, I actually think he could submit Teymur here. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. That seems to be his best skill. He's very long. He's 6'1" featherweight, which is, significant and allows him to kind of use his limbs to gain leverage on the ground. The problem I see and so yeah, I do think he could finish Teymur on the ground. The problem I see with this, though, is he just doesn't have a strong ability to get the fight there. So his wrestling is not good. He doesn't attempt many takedowns first, which obviously if you're a ground-based fighter, that's not ideal. But second of all, he just doesn't have a great way to get it there. His entries are really slow. He doesn't seem very athletic. And because he's 6'1", it's hard for him to get in on his opponent's hips. And even though Teymur is not a great defensive wrestler, I just don't see Hooper taking him down. Maybe if he attempts enough takedowns, he could get one. But again, he doesn't really attempt many takedowns, and that's always been the case. To get the fights to the mat, Hooper generally prefers to pull guard and try to work from there, use his limbs to reverse position. And that's definitely possible here. But to me, when I look at this fight, if Teymur actually stays back, refuses to chase him into guard, he should be able to do whatever he wants. In fact, if Teymur is smart here, he should be able to just coast for 15 minutes. He could pretty much just throw leg kicks, box up Hooper when he gets too close, and not go into guard when he tries to pull it. And I think he could win this fight with ease. The problem, obviously, is Teymur's fight IQ is terrible, and there's obviously always a decent chance he jumps into guard. And if he jumps into guard, obviously there's a chance Hooper could reverse position and submit him there. And, that's why I only have this at about 60% for Teymur, because he's extremely unpredictable. He could also come out of the chute looking to just finish right away and gas himself out, and then maybe it's easy for Hooper to get him down in the later rounds. That's very possible. But like I said, ultimately I have to cap Teymur as a favorite here, just because if he takes the path of least resistance here, this should be an easy fight. And even if he doesn't and he explodes out of the gate and could potentially gas himself, I think he has a really strong chance to finish. Like I said, Hooper leaves his chin in the air at all times. He's really hittable, and Teymur is going to tee off on him early. Basically, to me, for Hooper to win this fight, he's going to have to survive early and hope Taymur's willing to play around on the ground with him or just gasses out. And so consequently, I've priced Teymur at minus 150. I've played him for 2 units at minus 113. I'm pretty comfortable with that play. And my pick is going to be Teymur by first round KO. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you follow me, let's make some money together. And if you fade me, good luck. Thanks. Bye.